People don't succeed alone. No matter how talented, smart, or hardworking you are, your life will always be shaped by the relationships you build and the connections you create. The truth is, success isn't just about what you know, it's about who you are to others. It's about the energy you bring into a room, the way you make people feel, and the influence you carry without ever having to force it. This is the essence of social intelligence, and it's one of the most valuable skills you can ever master. Think about the most charismatic people you've met. They seem to effortlessly command attention. Others listen when they speak. Opportunities seem to flow to them. It's not luck, it's strategy. They've learned how to connect deeply, build trust, and lead with authenticity. And here's the good news, you can learn to do the same. In this audiobook, we will uncover the step-by-step blueprint for becoming charismatic, confident, and influential. You'll discover how to build unshakable self-confidence, how to read people like an open book, how to master your first impressions, and how to connect so deeply that people can't help but be drawn to you. You'll also learn to handle criticism with grace, lead through influence rather than force, and build a reputation that opens doors wherever you go. These skills are not just for leaders or extroverts. They are for anyone who wants to thrive in relationships, careers, and life. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Build unshakable self-confidence first. Before you can win others, you must first win yourself. Social intelligence doesn't start with reading other people or influencing them. It begins with the relationship you have with yourself. Think about it. Have you ever been around someone who was nervous, insecure, or second-guessing every word they said? You probably felt their energy, right? Maybe you even felt a little uncomfortable yourself. That's because people don't just listen to your words, they sense who you are. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. Confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room or faking a big personality. It's about carrying yourself with quiet certainty. It's about knowing your value so deeply that you don't need to prove it. True confidence doesn't scream, it whispers. It shows up in your posture, your tone of voice, and even the way you look someone in the eye. It's magnetic, and people can't help but respond to it. But here's the thing, unshakable confidence isn't something you're born with. It's built, brick by brick, through action. The fastest way to destroy your confidence is to sit on the sidelines, waiting to feel ready. You'll never feel ready. The moment you take action, no matter how small, you start teaching your brain, I can do this. Each step forward becomes proof that you are capable, and proof is what builds belief. Start with the basics. Take care of your body, because how you treat yourself sets the tone for how others treat you. Stand tall when you walk into a room. Speak clearly, even if your voice shakes. And most importantly, keep the promises you make to yourself. If you say you're going to do something, whether it's waking up early, going to the gym, or finishing a project, follow through. Every time you do, you send yourself a powerful message. I can trust me. That inner trust is the foundation of unshakable self-confidence. Also remember that confidence grows when you face discomfort instead of avoiding it. If something scares you, like striking up a conversation with a stranger or speaking up in a meeting, that's a signal to lean in, not back away. Fear is like a muscle. The more you challenge it, the stronger you become. Before long, the situations that once made you nervous will feel effortless. Here's a truth most people miss. Confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to act, despite fear. Everyone feels nervous sometimes, even the most charismatic people you admire. The difference is, they've trained themselves to move forward anyway. And each time they do, they expand what they believe is possible for themselves. When you build unshakable self-confidence, everything else in this audiobook becomes easier. Your body language naturally improves. Your conversations flow more smoothly. People are drawn to you without you having to chase their approval. So start here. Invest in yourself first, because the stronger you are inside, the more magnetic and influential you'll be on the outside. This is the first step to becoming truly charismatic and unforgettable. Chapter 2. Understand people like an open book. If you want to connect with others, influence them, and build meaningful relationships, you must first understand them. Most people walk through life focused on themselves, how they look, what they're going to say next, whether they're being judged. Because of this, they miss the endless signals that other people are constantly giving off. The truth is, every single person you meet is communicating something, even when they're completely silent. If you know how to read those signals, it's like holding the key to a secret language. Suddenly, you're no longer guessing what someone feels or thinks. You know. Think of social interactions like a game of chess. Most people are only thinking about their own next move. But the person who can see the whole board, who can anticipate what others are going to do, always wins. Understanding people works the same way. When you truly see people, when you notice the subtle changes in their voice, their expressions, their posture, you gain a massive advantage. You can respond in a way that builds trust, calms tension, and makes others feel deeply understood. And here's the beautiful part. When people feel understood, they automatically feel connected to you. The first step is to observe more than you speak. Most of us are so busy thinking about what we'll say next, that we don't notice what's happening right in front of us. The next time you're in a conversation, pause for a moment. Watch how the other person's body shifts as they talk. Do their shoulders rise when they speak about a certain topic? Do their eyes light up when they mention someone's name? These are clues to what truly matters to them. You don't need to be a mind reader, you just need to pay attention. Body language is a powerful window into someone's inner world. A clenched jaw can signal frustration they aren't voicing. A genuine smile involves not just the mouth but the eyes. Crossed arms might mean defensiveness, but they might also just mean someone is cold. Context is everything. This is why you never rely on a single signal. You look for patterns. When a person's words and body language match, they're being authentic. When they don't, it's a sign to dig deeper. But understanding people isn't just about reading what's on the surface. It's about listening to the emotions beneath their words. When someone complains about work, they might really be expressing fear of not being valued. When someone brags, they might be masking insecurity. Human beings are layered. The deeper you look, the clearer their true feelings become. One simple way to do this is to ask gentle, open-ended questions and then listen without interrupting. Most people aren't used to being truly listened to, so when you give them that gift, they reveal far more than you expect. Here's something to remember. People crave to be seen and heard. It's one of the deepest human needs. When you meet someone who feels invisible in their own life, and you make them feel understood, you create a powerful bond almost instantly. This is why some people seem naturally charismatic. They have trained themselves to focus on others, not just themselves. They give others the experience of feeling valued, and that experience is unforgettable. Another key skill is empathy, the ability to step into someone else's perspective. You don't have to agree with them. You don't even have to like them. But when you try to see the world through their eyes, you gain insights that others miss. For instance, if a co-worker is short-tempered with you, instead of reacting defensively, you might consider what stress they're under. Maybe they're overwhelmed, not angry at you personally. This understanding allows you to respond with grace, instead of adding fuel to the fire. Of course, there's a balance. Understanding people isn't about being manipulated or taken advantage of. It's about awareness. When you can read the room, you protect yourself from those who might have hidden agendas. You see past the mask people wear, which helps you make wiser choices about who to trust and who to keep at a distance. In this way, social intelligence becomes both a tool for connection and a shield for protection. To truly understand others, you must also be willing to set aside judgment. Everyone has a story, and most of the time, their behavior has more to do with their internal struggles than with you. When you approach people with curiosity instead of criticism, you not only learn more about them, but you also grow as a person. This doesn't mean you excuse bad behavior, but it does mean you choose understanding over assumption. Imagine walking into a room and instantly sensing the mood. You notice who's confident, who's nervous, who's pretending to be fine when they're not. You pick up on subtle cues others miss, and you adjust your approach accordingly. This isn't magic, it's the result of paying attention, practicing empathy, and learning the unspoken rules of human behavior. When you develop this skill, your relationships transform. You stop feeling like an outsider and start feeling like someone who belongs wherever they go. Understanding people is the foundation of charisma. When you truly see others, they feel it. They sense your presence, your attention, and your care. And because of that, they are drawn to you, often without even knowing why. So make it your mission to become a student of human nature. Watch, listen, and learn. The better you understand others, the easier it becomes to connect, influence, and inspire. This is how you begin to turn social interactions into powerful opportunities, and it all starts with seeing people clearly. Chapter 3. Master the Power of First Impressions. You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and it's true. Whether you're meeting someone for the first time at a job interview, a networking event, or even a casual social setting, those first few seconds set the tone for how they'll see you. People form opinions incredibly fast, sometimes in less than 7 seconds. That means before you even speak, they've already decided whether you seem confident, trustworthy, and worth listening to. The good news, you can control that moment. You can design your first impression instead of leaving it up to chance. Here's the secret most people overlook. A great first impression isn't about trying to be perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about sending clear signals through your appearance, your body language, and your energy. Think of yourself as a walking message. Before you open your mouth, your posture, your facial expressions, and even the way you enter a room are telling a story. The question is, what story are you telling? The first element of a powerful first impression is presence. Presence is that subtle magnetic quality that makes people turn their heads when you walk in. It's not about being flashy or loud. It's about being fully in the moment. Most people walk into a room distracted, thinking about their phone or their to-do list. You can stand out instantly by doing the opposite. Stand tall, shoulders back, head up, breathe deeply, and move with calm confidence. This simple shift in posture sends a signal to others. This person is worth noticing. Next, let's talk about appearance. Like it or not, people will judge you based on how you present yourself. This doesn't mean you need expensive clothes or to follow every trend. It simply means you take pride in how you show up. Clean, well-fitted clothing, good grooming, and a touch of personal style go a long way. When you look like you respect yourself, others are more likely to respect you too. Think of it as visual communication. Your appearance is speaking before you ever get the chance to. Now let's move to the moment of interaction. The first words you say matter, but your body language matters even more. Start with your smile. A genuine smile, not a forced one, creates warmth and trust instantly. Combine that with steady eye contact, not staring, but looking at someone as though they matter. Your handshake, if appropriate, should be firm but not crushing. These small physical details might seem minor, but together they form the unspoken foundation of connection. Here's a powerful tip. Use people's names right away. When you meet someone, repeat their name back to them naturally in the conversation. It shows you're paying attention and helps build rapport quickly. People love to feel seen and acknowledged, and nothing makes them feel that way faster than hearing their own name spoken with sincerity. Another crucial part of making a strong first impression is your energy. People can feel your vibe even before you speak. If you're anxious or negative, they'll sense it. If you're calm, positive, and open, they'll feel that too. Your energy is contagious. Before you walk into any important meeting or social event, take a moment to center yourself. Breathe deeply, visualize the kind of interaction you want to create, and choose to bring that energy into the room. When you do this, others will naturally be drawn to you. But here's the thing, a first impression isn't just about you. It's about how you make the other person feel. If they walk away thinking, "Wow, I felt good around them," you've won. You don't need to be the most interesting person in the room. You need to be the most interested. Ask questions, listen deeply, show genuine curiosity. When you focus on making others feel valued, they'll remember you for all the right reasons. Of course, not every first impression will go perfectly. Maybe you stumble over your words or feel a little awkward. That's okay. What matters most is consistency. Even if the first few seconds are rough, you can recover by staying calm, staying kind, and continuing to show up with authenticity. People are more forgiving than we think, especially when they sense your sincerity. Remember, mastering the power of first impressions is like planting a seed. That initial moment sets the stage for the relationship that will grow over time. Whether it's a friendship, a business partnership, or a romantic connection, that seed can either flourish or wither based on how you nurture it. So treat every new encounter as an opportunity. Don't underestimate the quiet power of walking into a room with confidence, showing genuine interest in others, and leaving people feeling just a little better than before they met you. When you consistently create great first impressions, doors begin to open. Opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere, and people will start saying things like, "There's just something about you." That something isn't magic, it's intentionality, it's preparation, it's the result of choosing to show up as your best self every single time. And when you master this skill, you'll find that influencing others and building meaningful relationships becomes not just easier, but natural. Chapter 4. Speak so people truly listen. Have you ever been talking to someone and felt like your words were just floating in the air, like they were nodding along but nothing was really sinking in? That happens all the time, and not because people don't care. It's because most of us never learned how to speak so people truly listen. Speaking isn't just about saying words, it's about connection. It's about creating an experience where your listener feels engaged, understood, and inspired. When you master this skill, people don't just hear you, they remember you. Here's the truth. Most people listen to respond, not to understand. And most people speak to be heard, not to connect. That's why conversations often feel like two people talking at each other instead of with each other. If you want to stand out, you have to approach speaking differently. You have to make every word count, and you have to speak with intention. The first step is clarity. If you want people to listen, you have to make it easy for them to follow your message. Avoid rambling. Don't stuff your sentences with complicated words just to sound smart. The most powerful communicators are often the simplest. Think about some of the most famous speeches in history. They weren't filled with fancy language. They were clear, direct, and emotional. People remember what they can understand, so speak plainly but powerfully. Next comes tone. Your tone is like the music behind your words. It tells people how to feel about what you're saying. If your voice is flat and lifeless, even the most exciting message will fall flat. But if you speak with energy, warmth, and confidence, you bring your words to life. This doesn't mean shouting or being overly dramatic. It means letting your natural passion come through. If you don't sound excited about what you're saying, why should anyone else be? Another crucial element is pacing. Many people speak too fast when they're nervous, like they're afraid someone might cut them off. But speed creates stress, for you and for your listener. Slow down, breathe, use pauses to emphasize key points. Silence can be just as powerful as speech because it gives your words room to land. Think of it like music. The pauses between the notes are what create rhythm and beauty. Storytelling is one of the most powerful tools you can use to capture attention. Facts and advice are easily forgotten, but stories stick. When you tell a story, you invite people into an experience. You create emotion, and emotion drives connection. If you want to inspire someone to take action, don't just tell them what to do. Tell them a story that makes them feel why it matters. People may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Here's another secret. Speaking isn't just about what you say, it's about how you make the other person feel included. Great speakers don't just talk, they interact. Even in a one-on-one conversation, pay attention to how the other person is responding. Are they leaning in? Are their eyes lighting up? Adjust your words and tone based on what you see. This creates a dynamic exchange, instead of a one-sided lecture. Listening is also a huge part of speaking well. It might sound strange, but the best communicators are also great listeners. When you truly listen to others, your responses become more meaningful. People can sense when you're speaking from a place of understanding, instead of just waiting for your turn to talk. This makes them more likely to listen when it's your turn. Confidence is the final piece of the puzzle. If you don't believe in your own message, no one else will. Confidence doesn't mean being perfect. It means being authentic and grounded. It's okay to stumble over a word or forget a sentence. What matters is that you keep going without apologizing or shrinking back. Confidence tells your listener, this matters. Pay attention. Imagine this. You walk into a room, open your mouth, and everyone naturally leans in. Not because you're the loudest, but because your words carry weight. Because you speak with clarity, warmth, and purpose. That's not a fantasy. That's a skill you can build. It takes practice, yes, but the rewards are enormous. When you speak so people truly listen, you don't just share ideas, you create impact. You influence decisions, build trust, and inspire change. So the next time you open your mouth to speak, remember this: it's not just about talking, it's about connection. It's about giving your listener a reason to care. When you combine clarity, tone, pacing, storytelling, and confidence, you become unforgettable. And when people truly listen, that's when your words have the power to transform not just conversations, but lives. Chapter 5. The Art of Listening with Purpose. Most people think they're good listeners. But let's be honest, how often do you truly listen to someone without planning what you're going to say next? How often do you really give your full attention without checking your phone, glancing around the room, or silently judging what they're saying? Real listening is rare, and that's exactly why it's so powerful. When you master the art of listening with purpose, you instantly set yourself apart. You become someone people trust, respect, and feel drawn to, because you've given them something almost no one else does: your full presence. Here's the truth. Most conversations aren't really conversations. They're two people taking turns talking. Each person is waiting for their chance to speak, to share their opinion, to tell their story. This creates surface-level connections at best. But when you listen with purpose, you go deeper. You make the other person feel seen, heard, and valued. And that feeling is magnetic. People don't remember every word you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Listening with purpose isn't passive. It's not just sitting there quietly while someone else talks. It's active. It's intentional. It's about being fully present, picking up on both what's being said and what's left unsaid. When you listen this way, you're not just hearing words, you're reading the emotion behind them. You notice the hesitation in someone's voice, the shift in their posture, the little sigh they try to hide. These subtle cues reveal more about what they're truly feeling than their words ever could. The first step to becoming a great listener is simple. Stop interrupting. It sounds obvious, but it's harder than it seems. Most of us jump in because we're excited to share, or because we think we already know what the other person is going to say. But when you interrupt, you send the message that your thoughts matter more than theirs. Instead, practice the discipline of silence. Let people finish their sentences. Sometimes, after a brief pause, they'll reveal something deeper, simply because you gave them the space to do so. The second step is to show genuine curiosity. Ask open-ended questions, the kind that invite someone to share more than just a yes or no answer. Instead of, "Did you have a good day?" ask, "What was the best part of your day?" Instead of, "Are you okay?" ask, "What's been on your mind lately?" These kinds of questions create openings for real conversations, where the other person feels safe to express themselves. Here's a secret most people don't realize. When you truly listen, people tell you more than they even intended. They reveal their dreams, fears, and motivations, often without realizing it. This gives you incredible insight, not to manipulate them, but to connect with them on a deeper level. You start to see the world through their eyes, and that builds empathy. Empathy is the foundation of influence. When someone feels understood by you, they naturally begin to trust you. Body language plays a huge role in purposeful listening. Lean in slightly when someone speaks. Make consistent warm eye contact. Nod occasionally to show you're following along. These small signals tell the speaker, "I'm here with you. I value what you're saying." But be careful not to fake it. People can sense when your interest isn't genuine. Authenticity is key. If you're truly paying attention, your body language will naturally reflect it. Listening with purpose also means hearing the words people don't say. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. If someone suddenly goes quiet when a certain topic comes up, or their tone shifts, pay attention. That's where the real story often lies. You don't need to call it out directly, but you can gently guide the conversation by asking questions like, "You seemed a little hesitant there. Would you like to share more about that?" This shows care and creates a space where honesty can thrive. One of the greatest benefits of purposeful listening is that it diffuses conflict. When people feel unheard, they get defensive. But when they feel truly understood, even disagreements can turn into productive conversations. You don't have to agree with someone to make them feel heard. Sometimes simply saying, "I understand how you feel," can calm tensions and open the door to solutions. The truth is, listening with purpose is a superpower in today's noisy world. While everyone else is fighting to be heard, you become the person others seek out, the one they trust with their ideas, their worries, and their dreams. Over time, this builds deep, lasting relationships. People will think of you not just as a good conversationalist, but as someone who gets them, even when they can't fully express themselves. Here's your challenge in your next conversation. Focus completely on the other person. Put away distractions. Listen not just to their words, but to their heart. Resist the urge to rehearse your response while they're speaking. Just be there. It will feel different, because it is different. And once you experience the power of true listening, you'll never want to go back. Remember this: Talking may grab attention, but listening earns respect. When you master the art of listening with purpose, you don't just communicate, you connect. You don't just exchange words, you build trust. And that trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship you'll ever have. Chapter 6. Use body language to command respect. Long before you say a single word, your body is already speaking for you. People are reading you, whether you realize it or not. They're picking up on the way you stand, how you move, where your eyes go, even the subtle expressions on your face. This is why some people walk into a room and instantly command attention, while others fade into the background without saying a thing. It's not magic, it's body language. And when you learn to master it, you can project confidence, charisma, and authority without ever raising your voice. Here's a powerful truth. Your body language isn't just for others, it's also for you. The way you carry yourself affects how you feel inside. If you slump your shoulders, avoid eye contact, and make yourself small, you'll feel small. But if you stand tall, open up your posture, and move with purpose, you'll feel more confident, and others will sense it too. This is why body language is such a critical part of social intelligence. It's not about faking anything. It's about aligning your inner strength with your outer presence. Let's start with posture. Think of your posture as your foundation. The moment you walk into a room, people are making judgments about you. Shoulders back, head high, feet firmly planted. Don't cross your arms tightly or hunch over. Open posture signals confidence and approachability, while closed posture sends the opposite message. When you stand tall, you silently say, "I belong here, I have nothing to hide." That one simple adjustment can completely change how others respond to you. Eye contact is another powerful tool. It's one of the quickest ways to build trust, or to destroy it. Too little eye contact can make you seem insecure or dishonest, while too much can come across as aggressive. The key is balance. When you're speaking, hold eye contact for a few seconds at a time, then naturally look away before returning. When you're listening, maintain soft, steady eye contact to show attentiveness. Think of your eyes as a bridge. They connect you to the other person and make them feel seen. Your hands also play a big role in how others perceive you. Nervous fidgeting, tapping, or crossing your arms sends signals of anxiety or defensiveness. Instead, use calm, intentional gestures that match your words. Open hands with palms visible signal honesty and transparency. Even something as simple as keeping your hands relaxed at your sides, instead of stuffed into your pockets, can make you appear more confident and trustworthy. Let's talk about movement. The way you move through space says a lot about how you feel. Quick, jerky movements signal nervousness. Slow, deliberate movements signal calm and control. When you walk into a room, don't rush, take your time. Move like someone who has purpose, not like someone who's trying to disappear. Imagine a leader walking to the front of a room to speak. They don't scurry, they glide. They project calm authority before they ever say a word. Facial expressions matter too. A genuine, relaxed smile can disarm tension and make you instantly more likable. But a forced or fake smile can do the opposite. The secret is to let your expressions match your emotions. If you're happy to see someone, let it show. If you're listening intently, let your face reflect that interest. Neutral expressions are fine in serious situations, but avoid appearing bored or annoyed. People will always respond more to how you look than to what you say. Here's something most people overlook. Your body language needs to match your words. If you say you're excited about an idea, but your voice is flat and your posture is slouched, no one will believe you. When your verbal and non-verbal communication align, you create trust and credibility. When they don't, people sense something is off, even if they can't explain why. This is why politicians and public speakers train endlessly on their body language, because people believe what they see more than what they hear. There's also a subtle layer to body language, mirroring. When you subtly reflect someone's posture or gestures, it creates a sense of connection. For example, if they lean forward slightly, you do the same a moment later. If they speak calmly and slowly, you match that rhythm. This isn't about copying them, it's about creating harmony. When done naturally, mirroring makes the other person feel comfortable and understood on a subconscious level. But remember, body language isn't about manipulation or performance, it's about authenticity. If you're faking confidence while feeling terrified inside, people will eventually notice. The real key is to become the person your body language represents. Stand tall because you believe in yourself. Make eye contact because you genuinely care about connecting. Smile because you truly want to bring warmth to the interaction. When your inner state matches your outer signals, people will feel it, and your presence will be undeniable. Mastering body language takes practice. Start small. Notice how you walk into a room. Pay attention to your posture during conversations. Practice maintaining calm, steady eye contact. Over time, these habits will become natural, and you'll begin to see how differently people treat you. They'll listen more closely, respect your ideas, and respond to your energy. The world is full of noise, words flying back and forth, distractions everywhere, but your body language cuts through it all. It speaks louder than anything you say. When you use it wisely, you don't have to fight for respect. You simply embody it. And that silent, powerful message will draw people to you like a magnet, giving you influence long before you ever open your mouth. Chapter 7. Build instant rapport with anyone. Have you ever met someone for the very first time and instantly felt like you'd known them for years? That magical feeling, that sense of connection that seems effortless, is called rapport. And here's the thing, it's not luck, it's a skill. Some people seem naturally gifted at making others feel comfortable, but in reality they've learned how to do it, whether consciously or not. The good news is, you can learn it too. Once you understand how to build rapport, you'll be able to create trust and connection with almost anyone, almost anywhere. Rapport is the foundation of influence. Without it, your words fall flat. You can have the best ideas, the smartest solutions, even the most compelling arguments. But if people don't feel connected to you, they won't truly listen. On the other hand, when you have rapport, doors open, people lean in. They want to help you, follow you, and be around you. That's how powerful this skill really is. So how do you build instant rapport? It starts with something simple, genuine interest. People can sense when you're just waiting for your turn to talk, or when you're only pretending to care. If you want someone to connect with you, you must genuinely care about them. This doesn't mean you have to be best friends or agree with everything they say. It just means you value them as a person. One of the fastest ways to show this is by asking thoughtful questions and really listening to the answers. When someone feels like you're truly paying attention, they automatically feel closer to you. Another powerful tool for creating rapport is finding common ground. Human beings are wired to seek similarity. We trust people who seem like us. That doesn't mean you have to share the exact same life experiences. It could be as simple as liking the same type of music, having kids the same age, or even rooting for the same sports team. When you discover these small points of connection, highlight them naturally in the conversation. It creates a bridge between you and the other person, making them feel more comfortable. Mirroring is another subtle but highly effective technique. This doesn't mean copying someone like a parrot. It means gently reflecting their body language, tone of voice, and energy level. For instance, if they speak calmly and slowly, you don't want to respond like an over-caffeinated salesperson. Instead, match their pace. If they lean forward while talking, you might lean in slightly a moment later. This creates a subconscious feeling of harmony, like you're in sync. But here's the key: it has to feel natural. If you overdo it, they'll notice and feel uncomfortable. Think of it as blending with their rhythm, not mimicking their every move. Names are another secret ingredient to rapport. People love to hear their own name. It's the sweetest sound to their ears. When you use someone's name in conversation, it instantly makes the interaction feel personal. Just don't overuse it, or it will sound forced. Sprinkle it in naturally, especially when greeting them or emphasizing a key point. One mistake people often make when trying to build rapport is focusing too much on themselves. They tell long stories, list their accomplishments, or try to impress. But true connection comes from making the other person feel important. Remember this golden rule: be interested, not interesting. When you shift the spotlight away from yourself and onto the other person, they'll walk away feeling great about the interaction, and by extension about you. Of course, rapport isn't about being fake. You can't build a lasting connection by pretending to be someone you're not. Authenticity is non-negotiable. If you agree with everything someone says just to please them, they'll eventually sense that it's not real. Instead, be honest, but always respectful. You can disagree without being disagreeable. In fact, a healthy difference of opinion can strengthen rapport, if handled with care, because it shows you're being genuine. Here's a practical tip you can use immediately. Give people small wins in the conversation. Compliment them sincerely, acknowledge their perspective, or thank them for sharing something personal. These small gestures make people feel valued. And when someone feels valued, they're far more likely to trust you and open up. Rapport also grows when you follow through. If you promise to do something, whether it's sending an email, making an introduction, or simply remembering a detail about their life, make sure you do it. Reliability builds trust faster than almost anything else. People remember actions far more than words. Finally, remember that rapport isn't built in a single moment. While first impressions matter, true connection deepens over time. Think of rapport like planting a seed. Your initial interaction is the planting stage. Each future conversation, each act of kindness, each moment of genuine interest is water and sunlight. Over time, that seed grows into a strong, lasting relationship. Imagine walking into any room, meeting a stranger, and within minutes, feeling that invisible thread of connection pulling you together. That's the power of rapport. When you master this skill, you'll notice that people not only like you more, they trust you, they confide in you, and they want to be influenced by you. And that's when social intelligence begins to feel almost magical. Building instant rapport isn't about trickery or charm. It's about showing up fully, with genuine care and attention, and creating a space where others feel safe to be themselves. Do that, and you'll never have to chase connection again. It will come to you, naturally and effortlessly. Chapter 8. Handle criticism and conflict gracefully. No matter how charismatic, kind, or skilled you are, there's one thing you can't avoid in life: criticism. People will misunderstand you, they'll disagree with you. Sometimes they'll even attack you unfairly. And here's the truth: how you respond in those moments says more about your character and your social intelligence than anything else. Anyone can be charming when everyone's praising them, but the real test comes when the heat is on, when someone challenges you or questions your actions. That's where true influence is built or destroyed. The first rule of handling criticism gracefully is simple but not easy. Don't take it personally right away. Most people's first reaction when they hear criticism is to defend themselves or strike back. It's human nature. But that knee-jerk reaction often makes the situation worse. Instead, pause, breathe. Remind yourself that criticism isn't always about you. It's often about the other person's perspective, mood, or even their own insecurities. Sometimes, what feels like a personal attack is really just someone projecting their frustrations. Once you've taken that pause, listen carefully to what's actually being said. Separate the message from the emotion. The person might be speaking with anger or negativity, but buried inside their words could be valuable feedback. Even harsh criticism can contain a lesson that helps you grow. If there's truth in what they're saying, accept it with humility. If there isn't, you can let it go without letting it poison your mindset. Remember, you don't have to agree with someone to stay calm and respectful. When responding to criticism, tone is everything. If you react with defensiveness, the other person will feel attacked and double down. But if you respond with calmness, you disarm them. Simple phrases like, "I appreciate you sharing that," or "I see where you're coming from," can instantly lower the temperature of the conversation. This doesn't mean you're admitting they're right. It just shows you're open to dialogue rather than conflict. Here's a powerful tip. Ask questions instead of making statements. If someone criticizes you, say something like, "Can you tell me more about what you mean?" Or "What would you like to see done differently?" This shifts the focus from blame to problem solving. It also signals maturity and emotional control. Most people are so used to arguments escalating that when you stay calm and curious, it completely changes the dynamic. Conflict is similar. It's natural for people to clash, whether it's in the workplace, in families, or even with friends. The key is to view conflict as an opportunity, not a threat. Healthy conflict can actually strengthen relationships because it forces issues to the surface where they can be resolved. The danger comes when conflict turns into a power struggle or personal attack. That's when relationships break down. One of the smartest strategies in conflict is to focus on the shared goal. Instead of getting stuck in me versus you, shift the conversation to us versus the problem. For example, if you and a coworker disagree on how to approach a project, don't just argue your side. Say, "We both want this project to succeed. Let's figure out the best way to make that happen." This reframes the discussion and keeps it solution-focused. Another powerful tool is empathy. When someone is upset, there's always an underlying emotion driving their behavior: fear, frustration, insecurity. If you can identify and acknowledge that emotion, you diffuse much of the tension. Phrases like, "I understand this is really important to you," or "I can see why you'd feel that way," don't mean you agree with them. It simply shows you care about their feelings, which builds trust even in disagreement. Of course, there will be times when someone is simply being unreasonable or even toxic. In those situations, the most graceful move is sometimes to disengage. You don't have to win every battle. Walking away doesn't mean you've lost. It means you've chosen peace over drama. Protect your energy by picking your battles wisely. Handling criticism and conflict gracefully doesn't just make life easier. It also elevates your reputation. People will see you as calm under pressure, someone who can navigate difficult situations with wisdom. This kind of emotional control is magnetic. It makes others want to follow your lead because they trust you won't lose your cool when things get tough. Imagine this: you're in a heated meeting, voices are rising, and everyone's on edge. While others are reacting emotionally, you remain composed. You listen carefully, speak thoughtfully, and guide the group toward a solution. That kind of presence doesn't just resolve the issue, it earns you deep respect. People will remember how you handled yourself long after they forget the details of the conflict. Here's the bottom line: criticism and conflict are inevitable. You can't control what others say or do, but you can control your response. When you respond with grace instead of aggression, you turn potential enemies into allies and challenges into opportunities for growth. This is what separates someone who merely survives social situations from someone who truly masters them. Be the calm in the storm, and you'll find that even the toughest moments can become stepping stones to greater influence and respect. Chapter 9. Influence without manipulation. Influence is a powerful thing. It's the ability to guide people's thoughts, feelings, and actions. When used well, it can inspire teams, strengthen relationships, and create positive change. When abused, it can destroy trust and leave behind a trail of resentment. The difference between a leader and a manipulator comes down to one key factor: intent. True influence isn't about tricking people into doing what you want. It's about inspiring them to want what's genuinely good for them and for everyone involved. Many people think influence means having a silver tongue or some secret psychological trick. They imagine a smooth talker who always gets their way. But real influence is quieter than that. It doesn't rely on manipulation or pressure. It comes from who you are, how you show up, and the trust you've built over time. People don't follow someone because they're forced to. They follow because they choose to. And that choice comes from respect. The first step to influencing without manipulation is building credibility. If people don't trust you, nothing you say will land. Trust isn't built overnight. It grows slowly through consistent action. When you do what you say you'll do, when you act with honesty and integrity, people begin to see you as reliable, and reliability is magnetic. It makes others naturally open to your ideas, because they believe you have their best interest at heart. Without trust, influence turns into coercion. With trust, influence becomes effortless. Next, focus on understanding before persuading. Most people make the mistake of pushing their agenda first. They try to convince others without truly understanding their needs, fears, and motivations. If you want someone to follow your lead, you must first step into their world. Listen to their concerns, ask questions, show genuine empathy. When people feel understood, they're far more open to hearing your perspective. In fact, sometimes just being deeply understood is enough to shift someone's mindset without you having to sell them on anything. Another key to ethical influence is aligning your goals with theirs. Manipulators try to win at someone else's expense. Influencers create win-win outcomes. When you can show someone how your idea benefits them, not just you, they'll naturally want to move in the same direction. For example, if you're leading a team at work, don't just talk about what you need. Show your team how the project helps their careers, their growth, or their vision for success. People are far more motivated when they see how their personal goals fit into the bigger picture. One of the most powerful, yet overlooked, tools of influence is leading by example. Words are cheap. Actions are what inspire. If you want others to be more positive, show positivity yourself. If you want a friend to break a bad habit, demonstrate discipline in your own life. Influence isn't about telling people what to do. It's about showing them what's possible. When others see you living your message, they naturally begin to follow. It's not manipulation, it's inspiration. Tone matters too. The way you deliver your message often matters more than the message itself. Speak with calm confidence, not force. Avoid using fear or guilt to get your way. Those tactics may work temporarily, but they leave lasting damage. Instead, focus on uplifting language. Paint a picture of what's possible. Help people imagine a better future. When someone feels hope and excitement, they're far more likely to take action than when they feel cornered or shamed. Here's something most people forget. Influence is a two-way street. It's not just about changing others. It's also about being open to being changed yourself. When you show that you're willing to consider other perspectives, you create mutual respect. That respect makes your influence even stronger, because people see you as fair and humble, not controlling. Of course, there will be times when someone resists you, no matter how kind or respectful you are. That's okay. Influence isn't about forcing outcomes. Sometimes the most powerful move is to plant a seed and walk away. You may not see immediate results, but your words and actions can stay with someone, quietly working in the background until they're ready to take the next step on their own. The real beauty of influence without manipulation is that it strengthens relationships instead of draining them. People will seek out your guidance because they trust you, not because they fear you. Over time, you'll build a reputation as someone who lifts others up while moving them forward. That kind of reputation is priceless. It opens doors you didn't even know existed. Think about the people who've influenced you the most in your life. Chances are, they didn't push or pressure you. They inspired you. They believed in you before you believed in yourself. That's the kind of influencer you want to be. Someone who creates change through trust, respect, and genuine care. When you focus on understanding others, aligning your goals, leading by example, and speaking with integrity, you don't need tricks or manipulation. Your influence will flow naturally, and the best part, it will last. Because while manipulation may win a moment, true influence wins a lifetime. Chapter 10. Network like a natural leader. When most people hear the word networking, they picture awkward events where strangers exchange business cards and force polite smiles. It feels fake. It feels transactional. And honestly, that's why so many people avoid it. But real networking isn't about collecting contacts. It's about building genuine connections. It's about creating a circle of people who trust you, respect you, and want to see you succeed. When you learn to network like a natural leader, opportunities don't just happen by chance. They come to you consistently and effortlessly. The first step is shifting how you think about networking. It's not about what you can get from others. It's about what you can give. Most people approach networking with a me-first mentality. They're thinking, how can this person help me? What can I gain from this relationship? That mindset makes others feel used, and it shuts doors quickly. True leaders flip that thinking. They focus on adding value first. They ask, how can I help this person? How can I make their life better? When you lead with generosity, people naturally want to reciprocate. It's human nature. Start by being genuinely curious about others. When you meet someone, don't rush to talk about yourself. Ask about their story. What are they passionate about? What challenges are they facing? Most people rarely get the chance to talk about themselves in a meaningful way. When you give them that space, you create a powerful bond. And here's the beautiful part. The more you learn about someone, the easier it becomes to find ways to support them. Maybe you can introduce them to someone who could help, share a resource, or simply offer encouragement. These small acts of kindness build trust quickly. Another key to natural networking is authenticity. People can sense when you're putting on a mask just to impress them. You don't need to be perfect or overly polished. You just need to be real. Share your wins, yes, but also your struggles. Vulnerability creates connection because it makes you relatable. When people see you as human, not just a title or a resume, they feel safe to connect with you on a deeper level. Here's a strategy that separates great networkers from average ones. Follow up consistently. Meeting someone once isn't enough to build a meaningful relationship. Relationships grow through consistent, genuine touch points. After meeting someone, send a quick message thanking them for the conversation. A few weeks later, check in, not to ask for anything, but to show you care. Maybe you share an article related to something they mentioned, or you simply say, "I thought of you when I saw this." Small, thoughtful actions keep the connection alive without feeling forced. Now let's talk about your presence at networking events or social gatherings. Instead of trying to meet as many people as possible, focus on quality over quantity. It's far better to have a deep, memorable conversation with 3 people than to briefly chat with 30. Aim to leave each interaction with a genuine sense of understanding about the other person, not just a name and a phone number. When you truly connect, people remember you, and they'll want to stay in touch. A powerful but often overlooked part of networking is connecting others. When you introduce 2 people who can help each other, you instantly become more valuable in their eyes. You're no longer just someone they met. You're a connector, someone who creates opportunities. This positions you as a leader, even if you don't have an official title. The more you give in this way, the more your network becomes a thriving ecosystem of trust and goodwill. Of course, building a strong network also means protecting it. Not every relationship is worth investing in. Some people take without giving, or they drain your energy with negativity. Pay attention to how you feel after interacting with someone. If you consistently feel drained or uneasy, it might be time to step back. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, support you, and inspire you to grow. Social media can also be a powerful tool for networking, if used correctly. Don't just post about yourself. Share valuable insights, encourage others, and engage in meaningful conversations. When you consistently show up as someone who brings value, people will naturally be drawn to you. Think of your online presence as an extension of your real-world network. It's another way to nurture relationships and build trust. Remember, networking is a long game. You may not see immediate results, and that's okay. The relationships you build today could lead to opportunities years from now. Be patient. Focus on planting seeds, not harvesting crops. Every conversation, every act of generosity, every connection you nurture adds to the foundation of your future success. Imagine having a network filled with people who cheer for you, recommend you, and open doors you didn't even know existed. That's what happens when you network like a natural leader. You don't have to chase opportunities. They come to you because of the relationships you've built. So the next time you meet someone new, remember this simple rule. Don't think about what you can get. Think about what you can give. When you lead with generosity and authenticity, you won't just build a network, you'll build a community. And that community will become one of the most valuable assets in your journey toward becoming charismatic, confident, and influential. Chapter 11. Win people over with authenticity. In a world filled with filters, fake smiles, and carefully curated images, authenticity stands out like a shining light. People are tired of being sold to, lied to, or manipulated. They crave something real, someone real. And here's the beautiful thing. Being authentic doesn't just make you likable, it makes you magnetic. It draws people to you naturally, without effort or pretense. When you show up as your true self, you don't have to chase attention. You earn respect simply by being genuine. But let's be honest, being authentic isn't always easy. Society constantly pressures us to fit in, to play roles, to hide the parts of ourselves that feel vulnerable. Maybe you've caught yourself saying what you thought others wanted to hear, rather than what you truly believed. Or maybe you've toned down your personality out of fear of being judged. We've all been there. But the problem is when you're not being real, people can sense it, even if they can't put their finger on why. Something just feels off, and that lack of alignment erodes trust. Authenticity begins with self-acceptance. You can't be real with others if you're constantly at war with yourself. This doesn't mean you stop striving to grow or improve. It means you own where you are right now, flaws and all. It means you're honest about your strengths, your weaknesses, and your journey. When you accept yourself, you radiate a quiet confidence that others find deeply attractive. People are drawn to those who are comfortable in their own skin, because it gives them permission to do the same. The next step is speaking your truth, with kindness. Authenticity isn't about blurting out every thought in your head, or being harsh under the excuse of just being honest. It's about expressing your thoughts and feelings openly, while still being respectful. For example, if you disagree with someone, you don't have to attack them. You can simply say, "I see it differently," and explain your perspective calmly. When you speak your truth in this way, people may not always agree with you, but they'll respect you for your courage and clarity. Here's a surprising thing about authenticity. It doesn't repel people, it attracts the right people. When you're real, you naturally filter out those who aren't aligned with you. Yes, some people may not like you. That's okay. In fact, it's a good sign. It means you're no longer bending yourself into shapes to please everyone. Instead, you're creating space for relationships built on genuine connection. Would you rather be liked for a mask you wear, or loved for who you truly are? Vulnerability is a key ingredient in winning people over. Many believe vulnerability is weakness, but the truth is, it's one of the greatest strengths you can have. When you share your struggles, your fears, or your past failures, you create a powerful bond with others. It shows them that you're human. Think about it. Who do you feel closer to? The person who always seems perfect, or the one who admits they've stumbled but kept going? Perfection is intimidating. Vulnerability is relatable. Authenticity also requires consistency. People need to see that who you are in private matches who you are in public. If you act one way around certain friends and completely different around others, trust erodes quickly. Even small inconsistencies, like being warm to someone in person, but gossiping about them later, can destroy your reputation. The most magnetic people are the ones who are steady. What you see is what you get, no matter the setting. To live authentically, you must also set boundaries. This might sound counterintuitive, but being real doesn't mean saying yes to everything or everyone. It means knowing your values and protecting your energy. When you have clear boundaries, people understand where you stand. They may not always like it, but they'll respect you for it. And respect is far more valuable than fleeting approval. Here's a practical way to check your authenticity. Notice how you feel after social interactions. Do you feel energized and at peace? Or do you feel drained and uneasy, like you were performing the whole time? That discomfort is a sign you weren't fully aligned with yourself. The more you practice being authentic, the more natural it will feel. Over time, you'll notice that your relationships deepen and your confidence grows, because you no longer have to carry the exhausting weight of pretending. When you lead with authenticity, something magical happens. You stop chasing influence, and influence starts chasing you. People are drawn to your honesty, your transparency, and your courage. They'll trust your words because they trust your character, and even when they don't agree with you, they'll admire you for standing firm in who you are. Think of the most memorable people you've met, the ones who left a lasting impression. Chances are, they weren't the flashiest or most polished. They were the ones who felt real. They looked you in the eye, spoke with sincerity, and made you feel safe to be yourself. That's the power of authenticity. It doesn't demand attention, it invites connection. So let this be your reminder. You don't have to be perfect to win people over. You just have to be you. The real you. When you embrace authenticity, you become a rare and valuable presence in a world full of pretense. And that's what makes you not only charismatic, but unforgettable. Chapter 12. Stay calm under pressure. Life will test you. It's not a question of if, but when. There will be moments when everything feels like it's crashing down at once. Deadlines piling up, relationships straining, unexpected setbacks hitting you from every direction. In those moments, people will look at you to see how you react. And here's the truth. Your ability to stay calm under pressure can determine whether you rise as a leader or crumble under stress. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are, they're not the ones who panic or lash out when things go wrong. They're the ones who keep their cool. They think clearly when everyone else is losing their heads. That calmness is magnetic. It draws people in and inspires confidence. When you can stay steady in the storm, others will trust you, follow you, and see you as someone who's in control, even when you don't have all the answers. The first step to staying calm under pressure is simple. Pause before you react. Most people make situations worse because they act on impulse. They get angry, frustrated, or afraid, and they let those emotions take over. But when you pause, even for just a few seconds, you create space between the problem and your response. In that space, you regain control. You give yourself a chance to think instead of just react. It's like hitting a mental reset button. Breathing deeply might sound too basic, but it's incredibly powerful in high-stress moments. When you take slow, steady breaths, you're telling your body, I'm safe. I can handle this. Your heart rate slows, your mind clears, and your emotions settle. It's a small action that creates a big shift. Try it the next time you feel pressure building. You'll be amazed at how quickly it grounds you. Another key to staying calm is perspective. Pressure feels overwhelming when you convince yourself the situation is bigger than it really is. We tend to catastrophize, imagining worst-case scenarios that may never happen. But when you step back and view the situation objectively, you often realize it's not the end of the world. Ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? What part of this can I control right now? By focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't, you shrink the problem down to a manageable size. Preparation also plays a huge role. Confidence doesn't magically appear when the heat is on. It's built through preparation. Think of a firefighter. They don't wait for a burning building to figure out what to do. They train relentlessly, so that when the moment comes, they act with clarity and precision. In the same way, you can prepare yourself by developing routines, systems and habits that keep you steady. The more prepared you are, the less pressure can shake you. Equally important is managing your self-talk. Under pressure, your inner voice can either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. If you tell yourself, this is too much, I can't handle it, you'll spiral into stress. But if you remind yourself, I've faced challenges before, I'm capable, I'll figure this out, you'll tap into your inner strength. What you say to yourself in tough moments matters just as much as what's happening around you. Here's something many people overlook. Your calmness is contagious. When you stay composed, you give others permission to calm down too. Imagine being in a meeting where everyone is panicking, voices raised, emotions running high. Then you speak up, calm, steady, focused. The entire energy of the room shifts. People start to breathe easier. They start to think clearly again. That's the power of being the calm center in a chaotic storm. Of course, staying calm doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It means approaching challenges with clarity and intention. It's about saying, yes, this is difficult, but I will handle it thoughtfully. When you remain grounded, you make better decisions, and you inspire confidence in everyone around you. Sometimes, the hardest part of staying calm is letting go of the need to control everything. pressure often comes from trying to manage outcomes that are beyond your reach. The truth is, you can't control every variable, every person, every situation. What you can control is your effort, your attitude, and your response. When you focus on those things, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and reclaim your inner power. Think about it. Life will always have moments of chaos. You can't avoid them, but you can choose how you show up. You can choose to be the person who stays centered when others lose their way. Over time, this skill will set you apart. People will see you as reliable, trustworthy and strong, not because you never face pressure, but because you rise above it. So the next time you feel the walls closing in, remember this: pause, breathe, gain perspective, and focus on what you can control. Be the calm in the storm, not the storm itself. Because when you master the art of staying calm under pressure, you don't just handle challenges, you turn them into opportunities to lead, inspire and grow. And that is one of the most powerful traits you can ever develop on your journey to becoming truly charismatic and influential. Chapter 13. Build a reputation that speaks for you. Your reputation is like a shadow. It follows you everywhere you go. Even when you're not in the room, people are talking about you, forming opinions about who you are and what you stand for. And here's the thing: your reputation can open doors you never even knew existed, or quietly close them before you get the chance to walk through. Long before you meet someone, your reputation has already introduced you. The question is, what story is it telling? In today's world, where information travels faster than ever, your reputation is more valuable than money, talent, or even opportunity. Skills may get you in the door, but your reputation determines whether you stay there. People do business with those they trust. They recommend, promote, and support those they believe in. If you want to be charismatic and influential, you must be intentional about the image you project, because once trust is broken, it's incredibly hard to rebuild. The first step to building a strong reputation is consistency. People should know what to expect from you, no matter the setting. Imagine someone who is warm and friendly to their boss, but rude to waiters or dismissive toward people they see as unimportant. That inconsistency erodes trust instantly. True leaders are steady. Whether you're talking to a CEO, a janitor, or a stranger on the street, your respect and integrity should remain the same. Consistency builds reliability, and reliability builds reputation. Next, focus on keeping your word. It sounds simple, but it's rare. So many people make promises they never keep, showing up late, canceling plans, missing deadlines. Over time, this chips away at their credibility. If you say you'll do something, do it. Even the smallest commitments matter. When people see that you can be counted on, they start to view you as dependable. That dependability becomes part of your personal brand, and it speaks louder than any words you could say. Another powerful way to shape your reputation is through your work ethic. You don't have to be the most talented person in the room, but you should always be the most committed. People notice effort. They notice when you go above and beyond, without being asked. Over time, this builds a reputation for excellence. Others will start to see you as someone who delivers, someone who takes pride in what they do. And when opportunities arise, guess who they'll think of first? The person who's consistently shown up with integrity and effort. But building a reputation isn't just about what you do. It's also about how you treat others. Your character is revealed in the small moments when no one's watching. Are you kind when you don't have to be? Do you give credit instead of hogging it? Do you speak well of others, even when they're not around? These little choices create ripple effects. People might not remember every detail of what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. A reputation built on kindness and respect will outlast any temporary success. Here's something most people overlook. Your online presence is part of your reputation too. Every post, every comment, every photo you share tells a story about you. Before someone hires you, dates you, or partners with you, they'll likely search your name online. What will they find? Is it consistent with the image you want to project? Be mindful of what you put into the world, because once it's out there, it becomes part of your story. Of course, no one is perfect. At some point you'll make mistakes. You'll say the wrong thing, miss an opportunity, or let someone down. When that happens, the way you handle it matters even more than the mistake itself. Own up to it. Apologize sincerely. Take responsibility instead of making excuses. People respect honesty and humility. In fact, recovering with grace can sometimes strengthen your reputation because it shows maturity and accountability. Building a reputation also means playing the long game. You won't see results overnight. It takes time for people to recognize patterns in your behavior and to fully trust your character. That's why you must stay patient and focused, even when it feels like no one's noticing. Keep doing the right thing, day after day, and eventually, your reputation will speak for itself. Imagine walking into a room where people already respect you because of what they've heard about you. Imagine opportunities flowing to you without you having to chase them. That's the power of a strong reputation. It works for you even when you're not present. It attracts the right people and protects you from the wrong ones. So ask yourself today, what story is my reputation telling? Does it reflect the person I truly want to be? If not, start making small changes now. Every interaction, every choice, every moment is a brick in the foundation of your reputation. Build it wisely, and it will become one of your greatest assets, a silent force that opens doors, builds trust, and amplifies your influence for years to come. Chapter 14. Lead with influence, not authority. There's a big difference between being a boss and being a leader. A boss relies on authority, titles, rules, and fear to get things done. A true leader relies on influence. They don't need to demand respect because they earn it. People follow them not because they have to, but because they want to. That's the kind of leadership that changes lives, builds loyalty, and leaves a lasting legacy. Think about the people who've inspired you the most. Were they the ones barking orders, intimidating everyone around them? Probably not. They were the ones who made you feel seen, valued, and motivated. They didn't just tell you what to do, they showed you why it mattered. That's the power of leading with influence. It's quieter than authority, but far more powerful. The problem with relying on authority is that it only works when someone's watching. The moment the boss leaves the room, people go back to doing the bare minimum. Authority creates compliance, but influence creates commitment. When someone is influenced, they give their best effort, even when no one's looking, because they believe in the mission and the person leading it. So, how do you lead with influence? It starts with trust. Without trust, influence is impossible. People must know that you have their best interests at heart, not just your own. Trust is built over time, through consistent actions. It's in the promises you keep, the way you treat people when things go wrong, and the honesty you show, even when the truth is uncomfortable. When people trust you, they'll follow you through challenges because they know you'll never lead them astray. The second key is respect. Too many leaders demand respect instead of earning it. True respect comes from how you carry yourself. It's in the way you listen to others, value their opinions, and give credit where it's due. When people feel respected, they naturally return that respect. And when respect flows both ways, influence grows effortlessly. Another powerful tool of influence is example. You can't expect people to do what you won't do yourself. If you want others to work hard, show them what hard work looks like. If you want them to stay calm under pressure, demonstrate composure in the heat of the moment. Leading by example sends a stronger message than any speech ever could. People are always watching, even when you think they aren't. Your actions set the standard far more than your words. Empathy is also essential. When you take the time to understand what others are feeling, you gain insight into how to guide and inspire them. A leader who listens deeply and genuinely cares about their team's struggles becomes someone people want to follow. Even a small act of empathy, like remembering a personal detail or acknowledging someone's effort, can strengthen bonds and boost morale. One of the biggest mistakes leaders make is thinking they need to have all the answers. In reality, great leaders don't pretend to be perfect. They're willing to admit when they don't know something, and they encourage collaboration. This humility makes others feel valued and empowered. When people feel like their ideas matter, they become invested in the outcome. That's influence at work. It transforms followers into partners. Here's a truth most people miss. Influence isn't about control, it's about inspiring action. When you lead through influence, you guide rather than push. You don't need to micromanage or manipulate, because people are motivated from within. They choose to give their best because they believe in the vision you've shared. Conflict will always arise, and this is where influence shines brightest. A leader who relies on authority may use fear to force compliance, but this only breeds resentment. A leader who uses influence approaches conflict with understanding. They listen, find common ground, and work toward solutions that benefit everyone involved. This doesn't just solve problems, it builds loyalty. Think about history's greatest leaders. They didn't rule with an iron fist. They inspired movements, rallied nations, and sparked change because they led with influence. Their power came not from a title, but from the way they made people feel. That kind of leadership lasts far beyond any position or paycheck. In your own life, you have the opportunity to lead with influence, no matter your role. Whether you're guiding a team, raising a family, or simply being a friend, your actions set the tone. Ask yourself, am I trying to control people, or am I inspiring them? Am I relying on fear, or am I building trust? When you focus on influence, you create a ripple effect. People you've inspired will go on to inspire others. Your leadership becomes a legacy, one that lives on in the actions and choices of those you've touched. Authority fades the moment the title is gone. Influence, on the other hand, lasts forever. So choose to lead with heart, with vision, and with authenticity. Let's be the kind of leader people want to follow, not the kind they feel forced to obey. When you lead with influence, you don't just get results, you change lives, and that is the mark of true leadership. Chapter 15. Become the person everyone wants to know. Imagine walking into a room and feeling the atmosphere shift. Heads turn, conversations pause, and people instinctively lean toward you. Not because you're flashy or loud, but because there's something about you, something magnetic, almost unexplainable. That something isn't luck. It's not reserved for celebrities or the naturally gifted. It's a result of deliberate choices, habits, and the way you carry yourself. You can become that person, the one everyone wants to know, respect, and be around. Here's the secret. People are drawn to those who make them feel good about themselves. It's not about being the most interesting person in the room. It's about being the most interested. When you give others the gift of your full attention, when you listen deeply and genuinely care about their stories, they naturally feel valued. And people always remember how you made them feel. Charisma isn't about perfect words or flawless confidence. It's about connection. To become magnetic, start by working on your energy. People can sense your vibe before you even speak. If you're anxious, bitter, or negative, they'll pick up on it instantly. On the other hand, if you walk in with calm, confident, and uplifting energy, others will gravitate toward you. This doesn't mean you have to be fake or overly cheerful. It means being grounded in yourself, radiating quiet confidence, and bringing a sense of peace to those around you. You become the calm in the storm, and people will want to be near that stability. Next, focus on adding value wherever you go. The person everyone wants to know isn't the one who takes from others, it's the one who gives. This could mean offering encouragement, sharing helpful information, or simply bringing positivity to a room. When people associate you with solutions rather than problems, they'll seek you out naturally. Think of yourself as a source of light. If others feel better, stronger, and more hopeful after interacting with you, they'll be drawn to you again and again. Another key element is confidence without arrogance. True confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't need to dominate conversations or constantly prove itself. Instead, it's steady and humble. People are turned off by arrogance because it feels like a competition. But genuine confidence inspires trust. It tells others, I know who I am, and I don't need to diminish anyone else to feel good about myself. When you embody this kind of confidence, you create an environment where others feel safe to shine too. Humor also plays a powerful role. You don't need to be a comedian, but having a light-hearted spirit makes you approachable. The ability to laugh, especially at yourself, shows strength and humility. People love being around someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously, someone who can bring ease to tense moments and make others smile. A well-timed laugh can break down barriers faster than 100 serious conversations. One of the most overlooked traits of magnetic people is reliability. It's not glamorous, but it's incredibly rare. Be the person who follows through, who shows up on time, who keeps their word. In a world full of broken promises and flaky commitments, reliability stands out. When people know they can count on you, they'll hold you in high regard. Trust is like a magnet. Once you've earned it, opportunities and relationships naturally come your way. Here's a powerful truth. You can't be the person everyone wants to know if you're constantly trying to please everyone. That only leads to exhaustion and inauthenticity. Instead, focus on being your true self. When you embrace who you are, your strengths, quirks, and even imperfections, you give others permission to do the same. Authenticity is magnetic because it's rare. People crave realness in a world full of masks. To become unforgettable, combine all of these elements: positive energy, generosity, confidence, humor, reliability, and authenticity. Then keep refining yourself. Read, learn, grow. The more you invest in your personal growth, the more you'll have to offer others. People are naturally drawn to those who are constantly evolving because they represent possibility and progress. Imagine the ripple effect of becoming this kind of person. New friendships form effortlessly. Career opportunities come knocking without you having to chase them. People introduce you to others because they know you'll bring value and positivity to their lives. Your network expands, your influence grows, and your presence becomes a powerful force for good. The truth is, being someone everyone wants to know isn't about impressing others. It's about impacting them. It's about leaving them better than you found them, whether it's through a kind word, a helpful action, or simply by being a steady, uplifting presence. When you live this way, you don't just build connections, you build a legacy. So step into every room with the intention to give, to listen, and to inspire. Be the calm presence in chaos, the reliable friend in a world of uncertainty, the authentic voice in a sea of noise. When you do, you won't need to chase influence or opportunities. They will come to you naturally and abundantly, because the person who lifts others up will always be the one everyone wants to know. Conclusion. You've just taken a journey through the principles of charisma, confidence, and authentic influence. By now you've seen that social intelligence isn't some mysterious gift reserved for a lucky few. It's a skill, a set of habits and mindsets you can develop, step by step, day by day. The tools are in your hands. What you do with them will shape not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. Think back to where we started. We began with the foundation, building unshakable self-confidence. Everything flows from that inner core of belief. Without it, every interaction feels shaky, like you're wearing a mask. But when you trust yourself, when you carry yourself with quiet certainty, people feel it. They respect it. They are naturally drawn to it. Then we explored how to understand others deeply, to read their words, emotions and body language like an open book. This isn't about manipulation, it's about connection. When people feel seen and understood, they open up, they trust you, and trust is the currency of all relationships. From there we moved into the outer layers of charisma, first impressions, communication, listening, body language, and the subtle art of building rapport. You learned how to handle criticism and conflict gracefully, how to influence without manipulation, and how to create networks built on genuine value rather than shallow transactions. These are the skills that transform everyday conversations into opportunities for leadership and growth. We also explored deeper truths, authenticity, calmness under pressure, and reputation. These are the qualities that turn short-term charm into lifelong influence. A person who stays true to themselves, who remains composed when others panic, and who builds a reputation for integrity, becomes unforgettable. Their name carries weight, even when they're not in the room. And finally, we arrived at leadership. Not leadership based on titles or authority, but leadership through inspiration and influence. This is the highest form of social intelligence, to become the person others willingly follow, not because they have to, but because they want to. The kind of person everyone wants to know, whose presence lifts others higher, whose example challenges people to be their best. But here's the most important thing to remember. This isn't the end of your journey, it's the beginning. Social intelligence is a living practice. Every conversation, every challenge, every interaction is a chance to refine your skills. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to keep showing up, with intention, with humility, and with a genuine desire to grow. Over time, these principles will become second nature. You'll stop thinking about how to be charismatic or confident, and simply be that way. There will be moments when you stumble. You'll misread someone, say the wrong thing, or fall back into old habits. That's okay. Every misstep is an opportunity to learn. The key is to keep moving forward. Remember, confidence is built through action, connection is built through curiosity, and influence is built through consistency. Imagine the life ahead of you when you put these lessons into practice. You walk into rooms and feel completely at ease. People lean in when you speak because your words carry weight. You handle challenges with grace, build relationships that matter, and create opportunities for yourself and others. And most importantly, you live in alignment with who you truly are. No masks, no games, just a powerful, authentic version of you. The world needs more people like that. It needs leaders who inspire, friends who listen, and individuals who bring light instead of noise. You have everything it takes to be that person. The blueprint is here. Now it's up to you to use it. So go out there and practice. Build your confidence, read the room, connect deeply, lead with heart. Day by day, conversation by conversation, you'll become the kind of person who doesn't just navigate the world, you transform it. And as you do, you won't just change the way people see you, you'll change the way they see themselves. That is the true power of social intelligence, and it's yours to claim, starting today.